Hey everybody, this is Patrick Masters, the CEO and President of Parabolic Trading. Um, Today I am going to share a video on how to customize and configure TC2000, which is my preferred charting software. Now, this video really is intended for students of our trading boot camp that are learning the various patterns to swing and day trade various stocks, right? But again, this video is for anybody who's looking for a way to set up their TC2000 that can help them identify potential trades that they would like to get into using the daily chart, as well as being able to manage your day trades through an intraday chart. And if you check the link below in the description, there is a coupon code that TC2000, the Worden brothers have generously offered off $25 on your first month. So if you select the gold subscription, I think is like $29.99. You can basically get your TC2000 the first month. You can try it out for $5, and you can actually have the same layouts that I have. I'm going to show you today how to put together an actual layout screen. But if for some reason you're having issues, or you honestly don't even want to bother with it, you can just send me, if you have TC2000 installed, you can send me mail. You can go to the tools button here, click the mail, and then you can send me an email within TC2000 to pmasters, pmasters, and I can just send you back my layouts that I use. Now I have a ton of different layouts that I use for TC2000. Like, I have a 4 monitor setup, and I have different things on different screens. Like, giving an example, I have these two 6 window layouts, right? So I'm able to watch 12 different stocks at any given point. And this is my intraday, right? This is for for your day trading. I'm able to look at these stocks and be able to monitor. Uh, Mostly, I focus on six. I have on my second 6 window chart, I have 3 stocks that I usually trade depending on how the market is responding. If the market's up or if the market's down, I will adjust my trading style. But for the most part, the top 6 stocks that I'm watching on any given day will be in a certain window, and I'm able to see, without having to click a bunch of windows or change a bunch of screens, to be able to see which stocks I want to get into. Now, obviously, it's very beneficial to have multiple monitors because you can watch more things, but we also have to be careful because we can also have information overload. But I do, just to give you an example, like here, I'll actually show you what's on my screen. So this is what I'm going to bring down here now is my upper left hand screen. So maybe like this is something I might keep, a 6 window layout, um, up there, and then this is in one screen, and I have another one that's up in the screen above this one right here. It allows me to really monitor different stocks. So I might have things that I do from the night before in my research for the next day, right? We call it the homework. We're doing our homework the night before, so we're ready for the start of the market. And then the next day, I'm checking for gap plays, that stocks that either gap up or gap down. We call those gappers. And depending on the type of gappers that are available, I may use additional stocks for my watch list. But if I have some potential gapper plays that provide me momentum and opportunities to make some money, then those are going to become my main focus, especially for the opening part of the day. And then I also like to trade on a multiple. I like to use charts that give me multiple time frames that allows me to see how a stock is responding, right? So most people don't always, not all traders use the same time frame, right? I like to align on multiple time frames. So let's say, for instance, if I'm doing my day trading, right, I want to align on multiple time frames. So in the morning, what I do is I'll use a 2 minute, a 5 minute, a 15, and an hour long chart, right? And what I want to do is I want to see different patterns, and I want to see how they appear. I want to align on multiple time frames, so I'm able to see what somebody who's trading a 2 minute chart sees. So if I can get multiple patterns, or I can get multiple time frames to align with my idea that I have for a certain trade, it gives me additional confirmation, right? So let's just say, for instance, um, if a stock, if a trend is, if their 2 minute is rolling over, but my 15 is up strong, my hour long is up strong, my 5 minute is up strong, I can relatively assume, right? We never know for sure. I can relatively assume that maybe the 2 minute, it either could be an indication that things might be changing, or it could just be something short term, right? Now, if I start seeing it roll over on my 2 minute and then I see it again on my 5 minute, now all of a sudden I'm going to be a little bit more cautious about maybe taking a trade for to the long side. And if it starts aligning on my 15 minute that it's rolling over, now I kind of know that maybe this is not, because again, we can look right here. This is probably about the 12, I would say probably about the 12 o'clock hour. Yeah, so we can look right here. Well, we can see at 12 o'clock, this stock is just really stuck in a range and it's going sideways. But we see the 12 o'clock hour here on the 5 minute chart. That's when it gets ready to start rolling over and kind of flushing into the to the midday, I guess, like a midday dump. And over here, we can see this a lot easier. And this is what a 15-minute chart will give you. It will give you a much cleaner chart to look at. Whereas if I'm looking at this 2 minute up here, it's a lot of chop, right? So I don't, I would have to really spend more time scrolling in and out and looking at different angles. But this allows me to just glance and kind of see how the stock is looking to additional traders. So therefore, I'm actually able to not just focus on my time frame, which my preferred one is the 5 minute. But if I'm able to align on multiple time frames, then perhaps I give myself an additional edge that most traders don't have, right? So this is why I kind of do things the way I do. Now, I also have up in my upper left hand monitor, I have what is my daily chart, right? So this is where all my ideas come from for my trading. It comes from my daily chart. Now, what's really nice about this is for my daily chart, I'm actually any point, like, so I have all my watch lists, and I have a screen for scans as well. I can click on any chart, right? I can sort by column. I can look at stocks that have been hot in the last 5 days, right? So we can go up here. We can scan this and we can say in the last 5 days, this BLPH, right? It's up 119% in the last 5 days. That's really awesome. So maybe this is something I might want to. I can just scroll right down this list. I can hit the space bar and it will allow me just to go right down the list, and I can quickly scroll through these and find out what stocks might provide an opportunity. Um, yeah, this thing was hot. This thing was hot yesterday. It was nice. I took a nice trade on that. And this one here, it was kind of hot. There was a lot of range today, but it's just, again, but it allows me to go through these things. Now, if I want to sort by a 30-day, right, I can see maybe if I'm looking for certain types, I'm looking for maybe a swing, I can sort by 30 days, I can sort by 90 days. And, the great thing about TC2000 is it's so damn customizable, right? So for our scans, we can go into our scans here and we can change our parameters to whatever we want. Maybe I want, maybe at this point I'm getting way too many stocks, right? I'm getting 2,249 stocks. I'm not going to go through all of them, right? Maybe I want to narrow it down. I want only stocks that give me 500,000 shares or trade, shares traded, right? And then maybe I want a price history of maybe $10 or more, because $5 is going to give me a lot more, right? Well, I want to narrow my stuff down because it's way too many stocks to go through. So you just change your parameters, right? Now we went down from like 2,000 something stocks down to potential 1683. Now, I'm not going to look at all these, right? But again, I'm going to look at the stuff that's the hottest stuff in the last 5 days. Now these, you can make Like my mentor had told us, you can make a living knowing what the hottest 50 stocks are in the last 5 days, right? So it will scan the total market, right? And it will give me everything that's been hot in the last 5 days. So if I am looking for a potential swing trade, I want to go over here to my 90 day, right? And I want to see what stocks have been hottest in 90 days. Now, if I just want to look for stocks that are the hottest for the year, I can go year to date, and it will sort it and tell me, right now the space, this Virgin Galactic Holdings, this stock is up almost 200% just this year alone. Like, and we can look on the chart and we can see that. I mean, this is nice, right? So this might be something that at some point, should a pattern emerge, it might be something I want to take a swing. But again, and then of course I have my daily watch list, whatever stocks have made it to my watch list for the day. This is something that I did last night. I just haven't called my list yet. But what I'll usually do is I'll go through, right? I'll go the night before. I have a certain set of patterns that I go through, or a certain routine. Like I will go through the liquid gainers, right? The stocks that are up 3% or more each day. And I will go through and I will look for stocks that give me a potential day two play, right? Because these are obviously the hottest stocks that day. And I'm looking for stocks that give me a chance to play day two for continuation. Or I'll go through my top loser scan and find stocks that give me the ability to potentially short for day two, right? Or maybe look for something that may provide me some sort of a bounce, right? Something that's been oversold and is outside its Bollinger Band that will give me a chance to maybe take it for a long and kind of recover some of that money that has been down. And then of course I'll go through different watch lists I have, whether it be like IPOs or a watch list that we have traded time and again and that we're more familiar with and more comfortable, right? So this is what TC2000 gives you. It gives you the ability to be very, very flexible, right? And the fact that you can move these windows anywhere you want, that's going to help give you an edge, is phenomenal, right? So let's go ahead and let's get to what we were supposed to do, which is show you how to create a layout, right? So if you want to create a layout in TC2000, all you got to do is click. Yeah, I'll just cancel this out again. If you click this little button down here in the bottom, right? Because TC2000 comes with some default layouts, right? Not really what I like, right? I don't like the way the charts are set up. I want things set up my way. I want them set up the way I know how to trade, the way I learned how to trade, so I can identify the patterns that I use, that I have learned how to trade with as well. So we can do multiple things. We can do starter layouts, right? Let's just go ahead and click this for starter layout, right? So right now we just have this basic four starter layout. So what I want to do is I want to click here and I want to click chart, right? And I just want to do blank chart. And I'm going to click here and I'm going to do blank chart, right? So what I can do over here is I can click 5 minute. This will be my intraday chart, okay? Over here, this will be my daily chart. Let's give ourselves some more room here. We'll worry about these bottom boxes here later. All right, so what we want to do, so we see this is the default view of TC2000. So let me go ahead and remove these old drawings off here. Let's see, delete. Like this is my preferred charting software, and the reason why I like this so much, I mean, I started out like other people. I started out using Thinkorswim, and it was clunky, and while it's powerful, it's a pain in the ass to learn, right? TC2000 gives me everything I need, right on my screens. I can make all my decisions, right, just by at most a click or two, right? And it just gives me so much more functionality. Now, before we go any further, if you have TC2000 installed, what we want to do is we want to go to Tools and then System Settings. The first thing you want to do with System Settings is you want to go down here to the hotkey settings. We want to click version 7. Okay. As soon as you hit version 7, it opens up a whole host of shortcuts that you want to use. So let's say, for instance, let's say that we want to change our stock, right? We can hit the letter J on our keyboard, and it will bring up a change symbol box, right? We can type in any ticker that we know. If you don't know the name of a tick, if you don't know the ticker for a stock, you can just type in the stock's name, right? TC2000 will go and find it for you. And you just click it. Now we're looking at Apple stock, right? Now, typically for most people that do candlestick charting, right? People that use candlesticks, this doesn't help us, right? This doesn't, I can't tell. I mean, I can see a trend, but I don't know if a stock's up or down. So what we're going to do is we're going to modify this chart to make it easier to see. So the first thing we're going to do, we got candlestick selected, right? So we got candlestick. We're going to go here. We're going to change the colors based on open and close. Okay. And I don't fill my bars up on my dailies. I do fill them up on my intraday. So it just makes it easier for me because, again, I don't really know that there's much benefit. Like I haven't seen a benefit to myself. I know there's not much benefit to me, right? Personally, it's not going to help my trading. But what does help me is if I'm looking at a chart. So let's say I have two different windows and I see hollow candles, right? They're all hollow. Then at least I know, right? My up bars are all hollow. I know that that's probably my daily chart, right? Of course, I'll see my other indicators as well, but I can glance from across the room and I know which is which. Now I already know which where I put my or where I put my layouts on what monitors. But again, if maybe I'm trading on a laptop and I have different, I don't have my four monitors with me. So I'll be able to look, just glance at the chart and tell if I'm looking at my intraday without having to be right up on there to see the time frame I have selected. So the other things I like to do, right, is I'll go through here. There are certain things I want to do. Now, I always like to have the the pre-market and the after hours, right? I always like to have those on. Scaling, I don't really change much with. Comparisons, I don't, but this is nice because it allows you to overlay another stock so you can see how your stock is comparing, let's say, against the QQQ or the SPY. Now, I also like to go in here, and this is another reason why I do like TC2000, is it gives me the ability to, maybe I don't like these grids. I don't like the dateline grids, right? Or maybe I don't like the value grids. I can get rid of them completely, right? I can get rid of them. Maybe maybe I want a darker, maybe I want a more visible watermark. Maybe I want it less. It just gives me the ability to be more flexible. Because again, this is something you're going to be looking at all the time. So you want something that is at least visually appeasing to you, right? You want something that's it's a nice aesthetic. So we can change our background colors. We can use a gradient. So typically, if I want something neutral, and I don't have the greatest eyesight, and sometimes things may be a little bit harder for me to see. So I may come with something a little bit more neutral so it pops out from the back so I can see these things. And then again, sometimes you just want to be festive, right? Like, around Christmas time, this is not uncommon for me to do. I might use a Christmas thing or, whatever. I mean, you can do all kinds of stuff. I'm a big Florida Gator fan, so typically, I'll do this quite a bit, right? Like I'll do an orange or vice versa. So you can do whatever color combination is appealing to your eye, right? Whatever lets you see what you need to see in order to make decisions. So now what we're going to do is we're going to set up our daily chart first, right? So how we're going to set up our daily chart on TC2000, we're going to see this little green cross, the little plus button. We're going to click this. And once we click this, it's going to give us the ability to add different plots, right? And you can see there is a whole host of plots that TC2000 gives you that you can add on. If you want to add stochastics, if you like to track money flow, if you want to track bid, ask, and mid, or you want to track the spread, or you want to put two range. I mean, there's a lot of different things you can do on this that gives you some really, really awesome abilities. But right now, we just want to put our moving averages on this bad boy. We want to be able to see the trend of our stocks, right? So the first thing we're going to add is we're going to add exponential moving average. So we're going to type in EXPO, and we're going to go down here to where it says moving average for exponential. We're going to click that. Now, once we click that, we need to decide where we're going to put it. So right now, the only option we have is the link for Apple. So we click that, and now we see we have our 9 EMA. Well, we have our EMA that we have added. We need to change this to a 9 EMA. Now, what I like to do and what I have found that's really helpful for me, all right? Sometimes I'll move in between software and like I'll use different software to assist me. Now, what I find more helpful is if I use the same color scheme no matter what type of software I'm using. So let's say, for instance, now TC2000, it's just my charting software. It's not what I trade with. I don't have an account with them as for my broker. I do use TD Ameritrade, but I don't use Thinkorswim, right? I use another program called MedVed Trader that acts as a front end that gives me almost the same powerful charting capabilities I have here with TC2000, but the order entry and everything, it just seems smoother to me. The way TC2000 does their orders, especially with their active trader, it's a pain in the ass, right? Like I don't like I mean, it feels like I'm trading through a spreadsheet where I'm scrolling up and down and moving a little tab here and there. I don't like it. To me, it's counterintuitive. I want something that's going to help me trade better, trade faster. Like for instance, one of the great things I learned from my mentor in trading, right, is how to scale in and out of a trade. So maybe I'm not sure if a pattern is going to work or it's going to hold. So maybe I might take a smaller position. And once the pattern shows that it is valid and that it's going to go, then I can add for a full position. But now when it's time for me to get out, perhaps I want to scale out, which when I say scale out, we mean, you take let's say you have a position of 1,000 shares. Maybe you're going to scale out. So maybe you sell into the spike, you sell 50% of your position, and then maybe you want to sell a quarter. Well, it's great if you have easy round numbers that are really divisible that you can calculate fast in your head. But since, as I learned, I used this risk size positioning, right? So that number of shares that I will buy in the stock will be determined based off of where I have to place my stop loss, in addition to the amount of money I'm going to risk on a trade. So sometimes my shares will be even numbers. They might be 500, 600, and there'll be sometimes where if I want to make sure I'm risking exactly what I'm willing to risk on a trade, let's say for instance I'm willing to risk $200, I might take 866 shares. Now if I'm trying to scale out of 866 shares, every moment that I'm taking to try to calculate in my head, what's half of 866? Well, that's pretty simple, right? 433. But what happens if I have 897 shares? I don't have time to sit here and break out a calculator or a spreadsheet, right? And you know, maybe that makes me not intelligent where I'm able to, just have something that's a really odd number. MedVed Trader gives me a little button where I can just click half, where I can just, where whatever I have, whatever numbers in that box, I hit half, it will just give me half. So I could scale out half of my shares for profit, right? And then I can bring my stop loss off to protect the rest of my profit. And then if I want to scale out another half of what I have left, so I can do half, quarter, quarter, and lock in, my profits, or maybe keep some profits for what we call lottos. So again, that's why I like to use MedVed Trader, and I just think it's a cleaner interface. And frankly, Thinkorswim, I just didn't have the best experience when I first started, and it wasn't because it's a bad piece of software. It's that it's just not very intuitive. Like I had to do a lot of clicking between tabs and clicking this and everything I seemed to want to do. And in Thinkorswim, it took me 5, 6 clicks sometimes. It's not good, right? Like especially when you're trying to manage your day trade. I don't have time to click tabs and then like, oh, I missed the wrong tab and I gotta go back. Yeah, I don't need all this right click and then drag and then entering keystrokes. To me, the less buttons I have to hit, right, the less keystrokes I have to put in. If I can do something and just click a button, or maybe just the less things I have to do, the better off it is, right? So again, but back here to TC2000. So we've got our 9 EMA, right? Now, depending on, I mean, this is a really thin line. I do like to increase the thickness of my line. I like it to be a little bit more visible, right? Especially on a smaller chart like this. I just need to be able to see. So what I'll do is now, especially for new traders, right? It's always nice to have a guide on the top of your chart. So what I'll do, instead of just leaving where it says, you know, exponential moving average 9, because it takes up a lot of space, I just want something quick. So if I look at a chart, maybe I share a chart with somebody, they can look at my chart and they know what my color scheme is, right? Okay, so your light blue line is the 9 EMA. Awesome, right? So that's all we need. So now we've already added the 9 EMA to our chart. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to click the plus button again. This time we're going to type in SIMP. We're looking for the moving average simple, right? So for my chart, for my daily charts, I use the moving averages of a 9 EMA, a 20 SMA, a 50 SMA, and a 200 SMA. So once we click the SMA, right, or the simple moving average option, we'll click the Apple chart again. Now we see it loads up again. So we're going to right click, right, or we can click the actual thing and it will bring up edit, right? So first off, I like to keep, again, I like to keep my color schemes the same no matter what software I'm using. So just to give you an example, on my Thinkorswim, my 9 EMA is always light blue. My simple moving average is always yellow. Like the simple moving average for 20 is always yellow. My simple moving average for 50 is average. So it's with me it's neutral. It's white, right? That's our intermediate trend, or our intermediate outlook on the stock. And then of course my 200, I like to keep it something that's completely jarring from the rest, and I keep that as a red. Now, also on my TC2000, I keep it the same way. On my MedVed Trader, the same color scheme. So it doesn't matter what chart or what software I'm looking at. I know if I can see across the room, right? So I might be on the other side of the room and I can see my monitors. I don't have to be right up on them. I can see how a stock is traveling and what kind of support I have or where my moving averages are just by the color. Even on my intraday chart, right? I don't use as many indicators, but I still will use my 20, even though it's not a 20 simple moving average, it's a 20 EMA. I still use it as yellow because why? I know anytime I see yellow, a yellow line, a yellow moving average on my chart, I know it's a 20. So all I have to do is make sure I know if it's a daily or an intraday chart. And again, what I usually do is I keep my charts different colors, right? So maybe, maybe I'll keep this gradient here as my daily chart. So I know no matter if my charts get jumbled, maybe when I start my computer, I start the software, maybe it changes my layouts around on different monitors and how I had it set. I always know that this color is always going to be my daily chart. And I always know whatever color I pick for this is always going to be my intraday chart, right? So we've got our 20 EMA. We change the period. Let's go, I'm sorry, our 20 SMA. So we type in 20 SMA. So now anybody that looks at your chart will know that your, well, let's see, did we make this bigger? I don't think we did. Let's go. I always like to make it a little bit thicker because it pops out a little bit more, so I can see these things a little bit more clearly. Some people that have excellent eyesight may not want that. Me, I wear glasses. I'm I don't know, whatever it is. Like my prescription is plus 1.5, so I need to see. I need things that are zoomer. I can see things great from far away. Up close, can't do it. All right, so we're going to add our next moving average, which is going to be the 50, right? So we're going to do SIMPL, right? We're going to do this again. We're just going to rinse and repeat this time and one more time. So we're going to click on this. Now we don't have to change our period because it already says 50, but we want to do change. I do want to change this to white, and I do want to change the title to 50 SMA, right? So up, guess what? I didn't make it bigger. So I can automatically tell when something doesn't look right on my chart, right? I can always tell when I need something to look a certain way. So once you see these charts enough, once you spend enough time with the software, you'll know how things should look. Things will kind of pop out at you. And when something is out of whack, it's jarring. So we'll do our, whoops, maybe if I could spell simple correctly, we'd be all right. So then we're going to put our last one here at the 200. So we got our 200. We're going to change this to red. I usually change it to like not bright red, but maybe off red, depending on my color scheme that I have. And this will change. Like I said, it will change based off of my preference and stuff. So this right here is a little bit more pronounced for me. I can see it a little bit better on this. Now, once I make it a little bit bigger, it's even better for me, right? So, somebody who has poor eyesight, um, you can see these things. So right now we're good, right? So this is what I use for my moving averages. I use a 90 MA, 20 SMA, 50 SMA, 200 SMA. Now we need to add some volume to this bad boy, right? Because we need to know how many shares this stock can trade. So we're going to type in vol, you can start typing in, you don't have to type in the entire word, you can type in some, and then once it populates, you can pick the correct one. So I'm going to type volume. Now this is nice, right? So here's where we need to conserve on space, right? Space is important for us. Now we can go on here to our moving average for this, and if I want to make this line a little bit bigger, right? Guess what? Bam. I'm good. So like everything looks pronounced. So I like this. Now with Thinkorswim, you actually have to really mess with it and tinker with it, right? You have to take the volume subgraph off, then you have to add a volume indicator back on, actually a volume average indicator back on, so you can actually see when your stock, the volume is above or below its average volume, right? And I like this too, right? I like it when it's simple. It just shows me right here, hey, look, this is what this stock did this day, right? But it's also cool because guess what? I can go here and I can see all the different stuff. Like I'm like, wow, this is a really big day. Like how much volume did this say? I can either click on the candle, right, and it will show me up here in the upper left. It'll tell me all the information about that stock for that particular day. Because remember, we're looking just right now at the daily chart. But I can also come in here and click, and the cursor will tell me the date, and it will. If I look to the right, I can see that man, it did 66.9 million shares. Well, technically, if you look at the volume over here on the left, it tells you it did 68.7 million shares. So I love the way this is, right? But we still need a couple more things we want to add to our chart real quick, right? So Bollinger Bands are something that my mentor taught me, right? Bollinger Bands are great, right? It gives me the ability to see how when a stock is potentially overextended, right? If you join one of our boot camps, you'll actually learn how this applies to you, right? How this would apply to patterns that we use, right? And how we will look at a stock. Now, I like to click the shading, right? If you see, our Bollinger Bands are these little blue lines, right? So this is typically the path that a stock will travel. And when a stock maybe gets overbought, overextended, it'll come up over here. When it gets oversold, the candle may be completely out here, and then of course we'll add some stochastics here in a second. But I like to click shading because it's easier for me to see the Bollinger Band, right? I'm looking for this area, so I know anytime the candle gets outside of these bands, it's easier for me to see rather than just more lines on a chart that looks like a moving average. But what I'll do is I'll go and I'll take this down to like maybe 13, 12 or 13 until, it's not really protruding, but this just kind of gives me the path, right? Like I know that typically if everything's good with it, it's going to cut right through the meat of the Bollinger Band space, right? And I don't change the label because it's really not that important. Now, we have one last thing to add to our chart, which is our stochastics. If we go to our stochastics, we do have to make a couple changes in this, right? First off, we want to click and then hit edit, right? We want to click that link and hit edit. We want to change this to 5, right? So we've got 5.3, we got 5.3, and I don't really care about this here. Like I don't really watch these. I look at this, right? I look at this number. However, if you start looking back, right, maybe you want, maybe you're looking back at a stock and you're like, well, I don't know what the stochastic is for this day, right? Like it won't change over here just because we have So see, so if I go and I put my cursor here, like it'll give me the stochastic to the right, but this number here will stay for whatever the current day is, right? So again, do you really need to? I mean, if I want a quick glance and be like, yeah, it's over, it's it's overbought, right? Anything above 80 is overbought. Anything below 20 is oversold. So I can do, this is the nice thing is that I can put my cursor over these and scroll up and down, and I can either get more pricing or less, depending on how much distraction I want. But again, this is nice. Now we want to change this second one here to a 3 as well. So this gives us our ability to tell whether a stock is overbought or oversold based off of this number down here. Now you saw we changed that second number and the calculation changed. Well, now we've got everything set up. So this is our daily chart, right? This is the chart that we want to use to get our ideas from daily, right? Now we're going to go over here real quick and we're going to set up our intraday chart, right? This is real simple. We go over here, we click our plus button, and the first thing we're going to add is our EMA. So we need to do this twice. So we're going to type in EXPO, click moving average exponential, we'll click the Apple thing, go up here, hit edit, we're going to hit 9, and remember, we want to keep consistent, right? I don't want to have different colors for different EMAs. So I want it to be light blue. I know anytime I see light blue, I know we're good. Oh, you know what? We forgot to do to this chart what we did to the other chart. So let's right click on the chart, hit edit properties, right? So let's give ourselves a different color. So maybe, I don't know, maybe we like, that looks like crap. Not a big fan of that look. Let's just go with gray for right now so we can just get through and learn what we need to learn. So I'll leave everything else there. Now I do want my pre-post data on there, right? I want that to be always. So it gives me the pre-market before and it gives me the post-market afterwards, right? So every day I can look back and say, look, this is where, this is what happened after the close of normal market hours. And of course we go here to our price style and we want this to be when color is going to be based off of open close. The fill will be based on net change, right? And this is where I like to fill my bars. So now let's go back here and make sure that we have our charts match up. The last thing we want to do is have different charts. Now see, we forgot to change the net change on this. So there. So now our charts, as far as how they're set up, they're aligned. They just have different indicators, and this one here is filled, and they have different time frames, right? So we've got our 9 EMA. So let's go back up here. Let's go and type in 9 EMA for the label, right? So this way here, whenever we share our charts, or if we're trying to share it with other people, that we are clear. Like I always believe in trying to help other people out. So if we're trying to share a chart with one of our friends, we want to make sure that they're able to identify what we're looking at as well, or what they're seeing. So we're going to add EXPO. Again, we're going to look for exponential moving average. And we're going to click on our Apple again. And this one here, we're going to keep yellow, right? Because we want it to be consistent. But we're going to change this to 20. So we have a 20, right? And remember, I like to have the thing, so we need to go back and make sure that our 9 EMA, whoops, way too many letters in there. All right, so we'll go up here, we'll re-click it. So we got EMA, and we got a 20 EMA up here. We'll go back up here to our 9 EMA, and we'll make that a little bit bigger. And it might be helpful too just to have it bigger to begin with, so you're actually you can easily identify. Now we've got to add 2 more indicators to this chart, and then we'll be done with the daily chart. So I add a VWAP indicator. So VWAP is your volume weighted average price. I keep that as an orange color, right? I might want that a little bit oranger. Oranger, I don't know if that's really a word. More orange. There you go. Let's be proper. So look, so now I got Man, I'm almost ready to rock. You can almost start trading with this chart. So what you're going to do is you're going to add, we need to add a volume on there as well, right? So we want volume, and we got our volume down here. So we are good to go. Now, here is what I do. I like to give myself as much room as possible. Now, the nice thing about TC2000 is you can use the scroll wheel on your mouse, and you can scroll in and you can scroll out. Another thing I want to point your attention to real quick is you see this dashed line? This is where, like, so when the stock opens up, this is our line. It tells us whether the stock is if it's above, it's green for the day. If it's below it, it's red for the day. That's nice, right? Because we got some patterns that we will play as soon as the stock hits above or below, if it meets certain criteria. So it's another thing that you could learn from our boot camp class. This is pretty nice. I like this. Right? So I'm good. So now we got areas down here that we can do things with, right? So the first thing I want to do is I want to create a, let's see, I want to use my flag list, right? So flagged items. So what I'll do, and this is a nice thing, like I showed you before on all my other charts, like every chart I put up, or every watch list or scan I do, I always add this as a default now, right? So every time I launch it, I put a new watch list together, or I put a new scan. Like it'll give me these column sorts, right? That will tell me one. It'll tell me the actual average true range for a stock, which is nice. And again, I do sometimes put the average true range on a stock up here, especially for a new. Let's do this. Let's say for new traders, right? For somebody who may not know what average true range is for a stock. Average true range is the average of the range of an actual stock, right? And it's based off of a 14-day calculation. So you can look at this stock and you can say in the last 14 candles, right? Not so much days, it's all based off a candle in your time frame. But in the last 14 days, Apple averages 7.15, right? So you got $7.15 is what it averages. So down here, right? So we've got this right here. We got our flag symbols. This is our watch list. This is where I will put stocks that I'm watching. Now, how you can put a stock on your watch list, right, is you can either right click. Actually, you can right click here and do, you can add. I think there's an add button here. Apparently not. All right, so on the other watch list, I'll show you in a minute. But to put a stock on your watch list, right, we're gonna flag it. So this is why we changed our shortcut keys. We can hit the F key, right, and it will flag a stock. So see the right here, it'll say flag. Now it's unflagged. Now we're gonna re-add it back to our list. So this is how simple it is, right? Now it's not that big of a deal for right now what we're doing, but when we add our top losers and our liquid gainer scan, and we're going through these charts really quickly, and we're looking for patterns that we see that we may want to take. And maybe we're in the early stages. We're just going through, looking at stocks, and we're flagging them maybe for closer look. So we'll add it to our list, and then we'll come over here, and then we will actually call our list down. We will shorten our list. We will shorten it so we can focus on maybe the hottest plays that we have, right? So the other thing that I do is I like to create a new watch list I call gappers, right? So in the morning, what I'll do is I will take a stock, right? Now, I will take a stock if it gaps up according to my parameters, then I will add it to my list. And then I will go through and I will check the charts like the daily to see if it aligns with what I'm trying to do. Or depending on whether I want to long it or short it. So I'm going to do additional research on this before I decide whether or not I want to potentially play a trade in it. So when you click on your watch list, right, you can just create a watch list. You can go up here and just create a new one, right? New personal list. So you can do that. What I did, so I already have one pre-made, right? This is the one I always use. So what you can do, you can actually get this down here, right? So if you drag your thing, right, it just goes over top of it. What we need to do is we need to click this move window button, right? When you click this, it's going to pop up options for us. So we have a choice where we can put this particular watch list. We can put it above this window, to the side of the window, to the right of the window, to there. This is why it's customizable, right? So what I want to do is I want to put it to the right of this window, right? If I put it down, like I'm going to put it down here. Well, if I do this, it's just going to put a window underneath this one, and I'll still have this window the way it is. But if I want to put it to the right of this, I just click right. And I look at this. So now I have this watch list, right? I have my watch list for stocks that are flagged, and then I have my gappers list for stocks that are gapped up, right? So now I want to finish out my thing. So I have an easy scan, right? So I click, this is a scan. You can either click the easy scan button up here, or you can do this. Now, you won't have this unless you are part of the boot camp that we're doing, or unless you send me a message and I send you my scans. So I will click the liquid gainer scan, right? And now I'm putting this here. So now, you know what? I still need. So this is nice, right? This gives me real-time scanning. It tells me, the stocks that are typically up, however much percentage, however I want to sort them. But I do have my parameters for this, right? So like I have, this is how customizable it is. Price percent change between between $2 and $100, right? A volume surge of 1.5 times greater relative volume, right? Volume looking for a minimum a million on daily. Price history, I usually change this. I fluctuate between usually $3 and $10, right? So if maybe the $10 isn't giving me what I'm looking for, maybe I will expand it to 3, because sometimes I want to try to catch a stock early. Maybe with something with a little bit of momentum, similar to what Netflix used to do, right? Netflix at one point was like a $5 stock. Nobody had any idea that it would turn into a $420 stock. So if I can start seeing how a stock behaves early, I might be able to get in early on a stock that I see how the momentum is growing. But again, it's all, sometimes I just want more. Sometimes I want more options. Sometimes I want less. But again, we're all good. So now we need to add one more scan to our list, right? You're not going to have this one either unless you message me or you're part of the boot camp. I look for stocks that are down 3% or more, right? So they're less than 3%. So these are stocks that I might want to consider for a short. Or maybe if I run a scan at a certain time of day, it may be something I might want to take long, right, for a bounce. So again, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to get this over here. We're going to click the multi-arrow button, and we're going to add it to the right of this. Now, here's what's so cool about TC2000, right? So again, we can adjust our stuff here. I can right-click on these things, and let's see. I can right click on the little menu up here. I can do watch list properties. So maybe I want to give a certain color to my watch list for my flag symbols. Right, so maybe I just want to use, I'll just keep this gray. Right, now for my gappers list, right, maybe I want to use a different one for that. I'll go here and I'll say, okay, give me this nasty peach, I guess. I don't know. Now, again, here's the thing: is that I want to be able to quickly identify what's what. So I know, since this is, let's just make it look nice, a little bit prettier, right? Let's even things out a little bit. Now, since I know, see, that annoys me. Let's just put that back there. So I know that this is my liquid gainers, right? So liquid gainers to me, it means green, right? It means money. It means there's money in this bad boy. So if something is up, it's green. So it just kind of corresponds with my chart. And of course, I'll do the same thing here for my losers, right? So if something's down, we automatically assume like it's going to be red. So this is nice, right? Like, I really don't like this. This looks like shit over here. Sorry for cursing. It looks horrible, right? So I don't know. Let's just say we use some sort of weird orange, right? So I can customize this. I can move all my stuff up as much as I want. I can see all the results of my scans and everything. So again, in the morning, what I'll do is I'll go through my gappers list, right? My gapper scan. That's not part of TC2000. You can either use Trade Ideas or Market Chameleon, and you find stocks that meet your gap criteria, and then you add them to here. And then I might have three or four, maybe sometimes 10, depending on how big the list is. And I'll just scroll down this, right? So let's just say, let me just add a few stocks here. So let's say let's say Stamp. I think Stamp was one of the ones that was on there this morning. I think SDGR, right? I think that was on there as well. So let's just say this is my gap list for the day. So this is the stocks that I did homework on the night before. So I can go down this list, right, real quick on my gappers and look at it and say, you know what, maybe it meets the parameters I'm looking for a play, right? Maybe I like it. If I like it, I keep it on my gap list right here. If not, if it's something that's like, oh well, now my list, if would I play this the next day? Probably not. So at this point, if this is Monday morning on the market, I wouldn't place. I would just click remove it from my list, right? It's as simple as this. So I have my stocks that I did for my homework, and then I have the stocks that give me momentum plays for the day. Everything I need to know is right here. So at any given point, like I can run my scans throughout the day, and when the market first opens, this thing populates, right? And it tells you the stocks that are hot. So what I'll do, not to like really go through my entire routine, this is more just about setting up the chart, is I can go through here and I can find stocks, right? Like I said before, if I find stocks that look good, and I don't really care about what's going on intraday. Like I only care about intraday if I'm intraday trading. But if I'm looking for stocks that I might want to take for a day two or a day three play, I'm just going down this list here. I'm looking for things that maybe give me a pattern that I play, or one that I'm good at, or one that I can identify. If I see things that give me a pattern, I might want to do it. I also might want to look for stocks that are oversold and gapped up, right? Or that are outside the Bollinger Band. Like this thing here, this could be a potential short play that I might want to look a little bit more at, right? So it all depends. Now, here's the other cool thing about TC2000, right? You can also add a bunch of stuff up here. Like I think these things are just standard. I think I have added the latest float. You can click this little plus button. You can type in, right, LATS. This, oops, here, 1 second. I typed on the wrong thing. Now I gotta go back and fix something here in a second. So if I type up here and I say, okay, I want to look for latest float, it did it again. What the? Anyways, you click this, you type in, see where it says type to search. You can type in latest float. You can add your latest float. I also like to put capitalization. I like to have shares that are outstanding. So if you look here, I can tell that this NCMI, it's a $631 million company, right? Shares outstanding, they have 79 million shares, right? Now, I don't know what the float is because TC2000 had updated. I also like to put the next earnings date on my charts. So that way there, if I'm thinking about taking a swing in a stock, I'm not going to risk by holding it overnight, especially on our earnings, because what happens if you take you take a position at $50 and the earnings come out the next morning and the earnings are bad, they miss their earnings, and you wake up and now your stock is gapped down to $25. You don't really want to do that. You don't want to put yourself in a position where you have no control over your trade. And then of course I can put up here shorts, shorts available. And then of course I have this strongly trending stock, right, that I could add up there as well. So it doesn't do anything. Yeah, I tried to test something and it just didn't work out. So let's go back over here and we got to remove this TSM, whatever the hell that is. I don't know. All right, so this is how you set up your charts, right? And I'm able to look at everything I need. Now, just to kind of show you, right? Like I have different things that I do. Like for Sunday night, I have charts set up for what when I go through the market, look for potential swings for the week, right? I can scan through the total market. I can scan through indices. Um, just to show you, like I said before, I said I have a whole screen of scans. I'm not lying, right? These are scans that I have that are just constantly running all day long on another screen. So at some point, I might want to say, hey, look, if there might be a new stock that gets added that's up 10%, I might want to check it out. I've got scans for pullbacks. I got scans that will tell me new 52-week high breakouts, right? I've got a 90, 35 day Momo scan. I've got a strongly trending stock that is based on a daily, right? So if it meets this criteria that I have, it'll pop up on the scan. I have a scan down here that does for intraday, right? So it gives me a stock that meets the criteria for a strongly trending stock intraday. I have scans that where the 9 EMA moving averages crosses up over the 50 moving average on a daily chart. I have scan that will scan constantly tell me if a stock is breaking out above last week's high. I have I have scans that tell me if a stock is reclaiming the 200 SMA. I mean, if you can think of a scan, TC2000, you can program it to do it, right? Like, and that's what's so awesome about this. Think or swim. Like, you got to pretty much be somewhat of a computer programmer, or at least speak their particular or preferred language in order to program stuff. I don't like that. I like things that give me the ability to. So let's say, for instance, let's say I'm going to scan um, indexes, right? So maybe I want to go through each of these indexes. I want to look at the index first and see, how strong is the index? Is this one going to break out? And then what I can do is I can, again, you can go over here, you can click this, and it will show you all the stocks in that particular index, right? And then what I did was I took this, and I just did this right here, and then I put it right there, right? So I just went there and I put it on there. Now, to get out of this, right, you just hit the escape key, right? So we're not going to do that. We're just going to get rid of this. But what I'll do now, so at any point, right, this will automatically populate with all the stocks in that index. So as I go down, maybe I see an index I like, right? I think this one here, I think this can break out. I think this index is getting ready to, like, you got multiple taps here. I think you got almost a flat top breakout. So I might want to go in here and I might want to see what kind of stock, what the stocks look like in there. If this thing's getting ready to break out, what stocks are causing that? What stocks are up? What stocks might I want to take a trade? So I can just go down here, scroll real quick. If I see something I like, maybe maybe I see something, right? And of course, I still got my sorting ability, right? So if I'm looking for something on a 90 day for a swing, right? If I'm looking swing wise, I'm going to look later out in time, because I don't plan on getting rid of this anytime soon. But if it's something I'm looking for a day trade, I might look up here and be like, well, you know what? This is kind of up 3 or 4 days, right? So I can scroll in, I can get all the look I need. Maybe I want to go back and look and see if this is if this is part of a larger breakout. Uh, okay, so might want to look at past moves. I mean, this is why this thing is so awesome, right? Maybe I don't see anything in there. Maybe I go to another one and I come down here and I'm like, okay, well, you know what? I like this. Maybe this stock here. I'm just going to pick this random stock. Maybe I like this stock. Maybe I think that this is going to break out, right? So maybe I want to check into it a little bit more, right? But I'm just going through the list. I'm just picking things that look good right now. So I go and I'll flag it, right? So even though I don't have my flag list here, when I go back to my main window, guess what? It's on my flag list right here. So I can sit here and go, okay, now I can scrutinize this, right? Maybe this is a play I might want to play, um, man, this is not bad. It's not bad. I mean, I wouldn't trade a $4 stock, but it's up, right? It's doing well. So it might be something, if this fits your style of trading or your preferred market cap. Some people like to trade small caps. Some people like to trade mid. Some people like to trade nothing but large. Some people just like to trade whatever can make them money, which I happen to fall in that boat. I just got away from small caps a lot more lately. I used to be really good at it, and then I learned that I can make the same amount of range or the same percentage with greater range using larger cap stocks like Tesla and things like that. So That's how I have my stuff set up. So this is what I can do. And of course I can go in here and I can change certain things like, maybe I don't want no grid. Maybe I want to get rid of the grid. You know, then again, you can do whatever you want to do. You can do things that will make your life easier. So, um, other than that, I mean, that's pretty much it. So, like, I have things that are certain ways I like. So, again, this was the one we were working on, right? So this could be an actual chart. And what I'll do is, you know what? I'll make this really simple. I will save this, right? I will share this chart with you all. So all I gotta do, what I'll do is I'll save this chart, and then I will put the link in the YouTube description. So all you gotta do is click on it. If you have TC2000, it'll automatically download. Like when you click on it, it'll make sure that you're logged into your account, and then you'll click yes, I want to download it. And when you do, this right here will populate. It will show up with it'll show up with like a number. You click it, and then all you do is go to the link right here, click it, and it will automatically download the layout. And then all you can do is right click and save. Like so you just right here, right click and save your layout, right? So we'll call this um, Parabolic YouTube, right? So again, so that way here I know at any time that like I like again if you look I have different charts for different things. Like I'll have an intraday chart. I'll have I might duplicate a chart because I want to mess around, but I don't want to screw up my original chart until I get it the way I like it. We also have a simulator account that if you want to back test or you want to try out your patterns, make sure you understand it before you start putting live money behind it. This is what you can do. You can use the simulator and you can simulate your trades and you can see whether or not you fully understand a pattern or you are ready to trade with live money, right? So I also have like a starter nine, right? So I have nine windows here. So maybe like right now we're in earnings season, right? And at any given point, you could have multiple stocks that you might be interested in possibly playing based off of earnings news. So I don't put a lot of my moving averages and stuff on there just because, frankly, I'm just trying to trade the price action in the after hours if it's something for an earnings play, right? So, but again, I like if I want to be able to see a bunch of stuff, like I don't really want volume and I don't want my. I mean, if anything, I put my indicators on there. I just would take the volume off. But again, I just want to see what stocks are moving, right? So maybe if I see a certain stock that I put on here, maybe I'll go to my main layout here, and then I'll find that stock, and then I'll see if it's something, if it gives me a pattern, or it gives me what I'm looking for as far as my reward to risk. So, but this is a really awesome thing. Like I absolutely love this more than anything. This is probably the best piece of software that I trade with. It's not I don't trade within the program itself, but I use it. It's my best trading tool. This is what will it has helped me become very profitable over the past year. Without it, I don't think I would have been able to do it. With Thinkorswim, I think I would still be frustrated. And I don't know, maybe at this point, I may have said, you know what, trading isn't for me because I just can't get past the software. So now I've got my whole setup that works for me. And you really need to decide what charting software you're going to use. If you're using charting software by your broker, it's probably going to suck, right? Like, I mean, let's be honest. They're a broker. They're not a software developer. I mean, they may develop software for use with their stuff, but if they're developing software, then how good are they at being a broker, right? Like, you can't be you can't be a master at everything, right? You can be a jack of all trades, but a master at none. If you are dividing your stuff up, I mean, there's a few companies that can do it, but they have the time and resources to develop. But you got to figure, let's think about like Thinkorswim at this point. They're now offering free commissions, so they no longer have that additional revenue stream that used to come in. So how much are they going to spend developing their software to make it better, right? TC2000, this is what they do. They offer software that is good. It's reliable, and this is, if you're going to be trading the next 20, 30 years of your life, you're going to have to get comfortable with software that you're going to be seeing each and every day. And you want to make sure that what you have is reliable and gives you the information in a timely fashion that's going to help you maximize your profits. So hopefully again, you all enjoyed this video. Now, the one thing I do want to point out, like I said, TC2000 is offering $25 off of your first month subscription. Again, if you're just swing trading, you don't need the real-time data, so you don't need the additional cost of, I think it's like $14.99 for real-time data. If you're just swing trading, you can get the gold plan, and it will allow you to download and share layouts and scans and stuff. So if you ever need scans, you hit me up. Again, I'm up here as pmasters, pmasters, right? You hit me up and say, hey, can I get your scans? Can I get your layouts? I'll be more than happy to forward you my layouts and my scans. If you need a simulator, I can send you the simulator layout as well. But again, you can get it for $25 off the first month. So you're basically paying $4.99 for your first month, right? So maybe you don't want to invest, $30 to see if you like a software or not. All right, so it's going to cost you $5. What's it really cost? It costs $5 to get in there to try the software to say, hey, you know what? This Patrick guy knew what he was talking about. This software is really awesome. It's going to help change my trading. It's going to help change the way I scan. It's going to help change the way I see patterns. And again, I mean, just to kind of show you, I didn't show you the awesome drawing tools, right? So I take you can go up here to the tools and hit drawing tools. Now, you know what I like to do with this? I like to take this and I like to dock it over here to the left. So anytime that I need, let's see here. So once it docks over here, let's go. There we go. So all I got to do is take it, and guess what? It's non-invasive, right? It's right here whenever I need it. So it's all right there. So if I ever want to draw a trend line, I can either click this, right? I can click the trend line, and I can draw my trend line wherever I want, right? Or if you want to use a keyboard shortcut, you can hold the control key, right? And you can just click and drag. So maybe I want something on a break here, right? Maybe I'm like, and now here's the other cool thing, right? I know a lot of people like Thinkorswim because it gives you alerts. Well, TC2000 gives you alerts too. So maybe I want to know right before this stock breaks above this. So I draw my trend line, right click it, set alert, hit OK. Now I got an alert. So the second this stock, I don't have to watch the stock anymore. I can go over here. The second I can watch the stamps.com. I'm watching this stock, right? And the second that this price goes above, right? We're assuming this hasn't happened yet, but the second this price goes above here, or even when this price here comes back, the candle comes back down and it crosses over this trend line, it's going to give me a series of beeps that tells me, hey, and it's going to pop up and it's going to say, XYZ stock cross trend line, okay, cool, awesome. If you ever want to mark levels for your stock, right? Let's say that I want to decide, I want to mark where my support and resistance are. I can use my horizontal line, right? So maybe I want to say that, maybe when I mark my resistance, I want to use the wick, right? So I can say, look, this is the high that I got right here, right? And maybe my resistance or my support is down here, right? If I think my support's down here, well, now I've got a clearly defined area, right? Maybe I think my support is maybe right here, right? Maybe at this candle. So I can create things on my chart that kind of give me price level ideas and targets, right? So I got an idea where, hey, this is, and if it crosses up over, it'll show up over here. So I'll be able to tell even during an intraday session where price levels are and stuff, because it will show up in this other box here. But again, I didn't mean to sit here and go this long. I'm not trying to give you an in-depth tutorial. I'm not trying to sell you on TC2000. I just know that some of our students are going to be using TC2000, and I know that for somebody who has seen TC2000 and maybe is interested but really wasn't sure if it'd be right for them, I just wanted to put together a video showing how you could put together TC2000 layout to give you everything that you need to be able to, one, be able to determine from your daily chart whether a pattern exists for you to want to take it one step further and make other decisions if a day trade is something that you might want to take on it, right? So again, it gives you a lot of ability and it gives you a lot of flexibility to make this as easy for you as possible. And that's really what we're in this for, right? We want an edge. I don't want to have to sit here and do all these additional calculations or research when I can do everything from my charts. I can do all my technical analysis from this, right? So this is what's awesome, and I don't have to go hunting for stocks. Isn't it nice to have a scan that's constantly running and telling me, updating, what stocks are moving and how much they're up, and really I can. This will update real time as well. It'll tell me, what the percentage is for the last 5 days, and obviously it's going to change throughout the day. But it's nice to be able to see all this stuff, right? I want to see these things. It just makes my life so much easier. And then of course I got a whole page of scans. So hope this video was helpful. Like I said, I do want to remind you that TC2000 is offering $25 off your first month. You just have to click on the link that's provided in the description. And also in the description as well, if you want to get $10 free cryptocurrency, I have a link where you can you can sign up for Coinbase and you're going to get $10 free. You'll get $10 free. There's no hidden there's no fine print, there's no hidden agenda. You get $10 free. And I also have a few invites left for people that click those links. You can sign up and get those cryptocurrency coins. I think there's like Stellar, I think there's like Orchid, and I think there's like EOS, right? So there's like 3 different coins that I still have a couple invites left that, again, it's free coins, right? So click on the links, get the free money. I really don't care. It's not going to hurt me if you do or don't. But again, if you sign up to them, you're going to get free money. So, me, I'd rather look out for other people. All these exchanges and stuff, they already make all their money. So I'd rather the little people like ourselves get the free money when we can. So, and if you don't know anything about cryptocurrency, once you learn, like in our bootcamp class, we're going to teach you all these patterns, how to play these stocks, and believe it or not, these patterns actually transfer over to crypto as well, right? Because crypto is really no different, right? Crypto is an imaginary coin, so to speak, right? It's a digital coin that's sitting on some server, right? That has a number associated to it, right? Well, that's kind of what really stock trading is anymore, right? Because we're not so much back in the days where we actually have physical certificates that you purchase and send in and things like that. So crypto is really not much different than a stock like BYND, which is fake meat. So anyways, but again, hopefully this video was helpful and it helps you understand how to put together TC2000. And hopefully if you give this a try and you like it, shoot me a message. We also have a Discord chat room where we discuss trade alerts. We alert to different things that we see, different trades that we're in, and really it's just a really good place for people to get together that really enjoy talking about trading, that enjoy seeing other people's charts and helping other people along. Yeah, that's all it's for. I mean, there's no cost. You can join. You can join the trade channel and everything's awesome. All right. So check out all the links that I have in the description. And hey, have a great one, guys.